In this video, I'm going to be talking to you about one of our clients, Susie, who in 90 days, while working the same amount of hours as she was previously working, still enjoying time with her family, Susie was on a 2x run rate for her speaking business and producing 3 to 5 qualified leads in a brand new speaking market every single week. Now, in this video, I'm going to show you the exact speaker scaling framework that Susie implemented so you can implement it into your own speaking business to experience similar results. What's going on, y'all? My name is Joe Johnston, and over the past 3 years, we have helped 150 plus speakers to predictably launch, grow, and scale their speaking businesses through proven systems and processes to 2x their lead flow and add anywhere from 20 to 150K plus per year to their speaking business. Now, I'm going to be taking through Susie. For the sake of confidentiality, Susie is not this client's real name. But when Susie first came to us, she was in a similar position that many of the speakers who come to us are in. She had a great message, got raving reviews when she spoke, and had a fairly successful speaking business already. However, her speaking business had no consistency or predictability. Built and reliant entirely on repeat, referral, and spin-off business, Susie had no processes or systems to generate net new opportunities on a daily, weekly basis. Her desire to scale her message to new markets and bigger crowds was stifled by her lack of ability to produce new opportunities consistently and predictably. Now, when we started working with Susie, we started with what we had and what she did well. For her, this was doubling down on her strong brand while also helping her slightly reposition that brand to be focused more on corporate buyers that she was looking to get in front of. She chiseled up her LinkedIn profile and website content to be slightly more focused on the new markets and speaker that she was becoming. Right now, once Susie actually started to look like a legitimate corporate speaker in her branding, in her marketing, in her positioning, we got her into lead generation. Now, up until working with us, like many clients, Susie's only main source for generating business for speaking opportunities was through repeat, referrals, and spin. A problem, again, all too common for the speakers that we work with. And while this told us she clearly was a good speaker who delivered to her audiences, it left Susie in a position that all too many speakers find themselves in. When she was speaking, she was sitting around waiting for the phone to ring with her next opportunity. No predictability, just stress and anxiety around where her next gig or paycheck was going to be coming with. Now, nevertheless, within 30 days, Susie's brand was chiseled up and she was ready to fire up outbound. Susie hit the ground running, implementing our 6-figure plus outbound lead generation machine using LinkedIn as her primary source to generate corporate opportunities. Now, within a few weeks, Susie was already generating positive responses that started to lead to booked calls in this new market. She was tracking her numbers and data along the way using our lead generation and sales data tracking resources. Susie started to notice trends as she had more and more calls booked with qualified and some unqualified buyers. Now, being the savvy business owner and entrepreneur that she is, Susie started closing deals in the corporate space and she started to use the data to go back and begin optimizing her outreach methodologies, right? So she started doubling down based on the data, her outreach and messaging to certain corporate targets while moving away from others. Now, within 45 days, Susie had closed 3 new deals from her outreach efforts. A handful of deals were right on the doorstep to closing, and she had a bursting pipeline and lead generation machine that's consistently producing new positive responses and calls onto her calendar on a daily, weekly basis. As we sat down for her 90-day check-in, we saw that Susie was well on track with her goal to 2x her speaking business for this year. And we also determined that given her numbers and the data, she had produced $1,800 for every positive response that she got with her outreach, right? So with this in mind and knowing the data, Susie knew that all she had to do was simply produce more positive responses, right? So she went on to making her first hire, hiring a VA to start taking over her outreach efforts so she could start to scale efforts while also focusing on her zone of genius, which is building her brand, sales, and crushing on stage. She made her first hire and using our simple hiring and onboarding framework along with our assistants was able to easily hire, onboard, and train her VA team to start producing calls onto her calendar hands off. Now, with her time now freed up while still producing consistent leads through her outbound system, Susie went on to develop a new marketing channel running free webinars to cold and warm leads. This new channel has now produced another 3 speaking engagements for her, is something she now runs quarterly. Finally, Susie has gone on to add a completely additional revenue source and offering, which is one-on-one transformational coaching, which is something that she's been wanting to do for a while. So as you can see, in working with Susie, helping her set up predictable systems and processes, helping her add a new lead generation source, chiseling up her brand, going into new markets, Susie is now on a 2x run rate for her speaking business for this year. So if you want to learn how we have helped 150 plus speakers like Susie, like yourself, to implement this and other predictable systems into their speaking businesses, go ahead, click the link to our website below to book a call with our team. Now, if you want access to another full training on how to consistently generate qualified speaking leads to predictably scale your speaking business, go ahead and check out that video in the resources section below, and we'll see you over there. Talk to you soon.